next one. On page 406, there's an updated village cost share program. We have basically three programs that we've used for cost share, and it relates to woodland improvement type of activities, removal of buckthorn, removal of garlic mustard, and planting native plantings in the woodland habitat. So the program that we currently have in place now, the cost share limits the village exposure to $1,000 for each one of those activities. So conceivably, a homeowner could apply for three different grants, one for the removal of buckthorn, one for the removal of garlic mustard, and one for planting some plants, and whatever that cost was, each of those items would be $1,000 maximum exposure for the village. And we haven't had anybody to this point do all three of those. We've had some people do two with buckthorn and planting sort of thing. And the conversation has been, we wanted to expand this a little bit, maybe make a little more of an investment in it on the village behalf. So I put together some suggestions here that basically, if you look down at the bottom of that little table, the current program, the exposure would be $3,000 if somebody wanted to do all three of those events. With the proposed numbers I put in here, that would raise the village exposure $1,750. It'd be the same kind of a process, and there's, as you read through the recommendations, there's some extensions of time, there's we incorporated different suggestions, so we just wanted to present this to you this evening, so you can look at it, and we can get into the discussion at the meeting in the future that's convenient. So that's really the first document. The second item is a planting program description we put together, primarily focused on oak trees. Now, what we've been doing also is working with Sheila Hollander's group and trying to coordinate some of our replanting efforts in the village. You know, we have a program, we've had the program for some time to enhance our woodlands. We're also suggested at the last meeting, we'd like to have a program for people that just want to plant some nice oak trees in their yard. You know, anybody in the village can take care of that whether they have a woodland or not. So what we wanted to show you this is, we're working with Sheila, we're updating our recommended planting list that we can put on the webpage, they can pick it up. This just happens to be the descriptives that we're using for the oak trees and some other trees. So it's that kind of detail. We'd have, you know, what's the description of the plant, what are its light requirements, what's its mature size, and some of those basic points of information. So we're working on that. The last time I made an agreement with the mayor that we keep this brief tonight. So this is brief. The last item is probably the more interesting one. We did complete our egg mass survey. This is broken down. This is the spreadsheet, the first page of it. We broke the community down into three separate components, generally described by the streets that they intersect. So these are actual counts. There's a whole methodology and that we use that goes through this, and this is really summarized on the next page. And what this tells us, this is a document. This management thresholds document was based on research that the U.S. Forest Service did in the 1990s out east when they got into a lot of gypsy moth problems. And this is one of the mechanisms we want to be able to use, combined with the other things we do in the gypsy moth program, to make the determinations if on an annual basis we need to spray. Okay, and so there's a description here, and I've got some more detail on this if anyone is interested in this. But basically, they're telling you here how many egg masses per area per acre it takes to achieve a certain level of defoliation of the trees.
This is per acre.
Per acre, correct. We had one that was hectares, but I didn't want to explain that to everybody. So this is per acre, okay? And we can combine this information to say it's reasonable to spray or not. And you'll notice, obviously, on our chart, the biggest population we found was in the southern part of the village. So take a look at this. We'll talk about it when we put this on the agenda the next time. And at that point, I'd like to have some discussions about do we spray or not this year.
I'm sorry. Do we have any comparisons from the previous year?
No, we don't. We just adopted this program this year. We went out last year and looked. We didn't do this at this level because the last time we did this, my concern was where did all these insects come from? So we just went through. The problem we got into in we sprayed in 2005, 2007, and 2009. In 2007, we sprayed the area from Deerfield Road south and from Port Wine to we didn't go all the way to Thornton, I don't think. And what happened happened was, that year, we're overrun with insects. So we looked at that area specifically, not necessarily the sample, to see if we could find any egg masses, we couldn't. So that's what led me to the conclusion they came from the Forest Preserve. I did meet with the Forest Preserve Deputy Director and his staff, and they're gonna share their data on these counts with us too. So when we get those from them, we'll put those in the plan. But what we're trying to do is build some base information here consistently sample the same places, consistently put our traps at the same places, so you make some reasonable decisions. And what this is showing us basically is, in 2008, we had this huge explosion of insects, and then the population crashed for a lot of reasons, the different variables and things. So, yeah.
Chuck, is there a way to take your counts and project those into egg masses per acre so we can actually compare them to the standards?
That's what these are.
These are per acre?
Yeah.
Yeah, we went to these different addresses, we talked to the residents, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what these are.
I didn't see your plan. I should have seen it, but I couldn't read it, so.
Yeah.
Has the Forest Preserve made a decision that they are not going to spray?
They don't, the Forest Preserve, Lake County districts in general, don't spray. They do spray, they acquired a piece of property on 176, it was an old golf course, I think it was like Four Winds Golf Course or something like that. They did spray there because that's sort of an atypical place to because of the previous land use, that's not some pristine sanctuary. So they do, in certain places, do that. One of their concerns is the BT that's used is non-selective to the lepidoptera or to the butterfly issues. And so there's a lot of reasons they don't do it. This particular area is part of the Nature Conservancy thing. And so, I tell you, we respect that. And we originally got into this because we wanted to put some traps, or we could put some traps throughout the Forest Preserve. And they said they do those kind of things for us. They'll share their information with us. So I thought that was a pretty good compromise. But at the end of the day, I think it's important to get some long-term history going here on these things with so we have a baseline so we have making a decision. So that was just it in a nutshell, and I'll be working with Cheryl because we get to comments and everybody has more comments. So the next time this comes up to the board, we can make some final decisions.